Welcome to Feeling Asian, a podcast where two Asians talk about their feelings. The final episode. I'm Youngmi Mayer.
And I'm Brian Park. And it's the final episode. It's the end. Oh.
So the last time I'll ever say that.
I know. It was the last time. It was the last time. But before we just really, really boring shit out of the way, listeners, if you still subscribe to our Patreon, this is a reminder. There's going to be no more Patreon episodes. So if you'd like to unsubscribe, please do so. But also...
Or you don't have to unsubscribe. You can just give us money.
You could also... Yes, you could also give us money. But if you still want to subscribe, then you still want to support our independent... Well, basically our transition into our independent artistic endeavors, we would really appreciate that. Our plan is to divide that up 50-50 to facilitate in the transition away from the podcast. But, you know, we want to be diligent podcast hosts and let you know that there will be no more Patreon episodes. So subscribe, unsubscribe accordingly. We'll leave that to you. But any and all donations are greatly appreciated.
Brian felt very like, I feel like Brian was like, I have to tell them. Like, he's so responsible. I would have just like not said anything and coasted off that shit.
This is why I would make a terrible, I'd make a terrible business person. As a CEO of Netflix, I'd be like, I don't know, guys. I feel kind of bad that we're not reminding the free trial period users that we're going to charge them.
No, I agree. I would also feel bad. Obviously, we're on the same page about feeling ashamed and bad for when people donate. It took us forever to start a Patreon. Remember, Brian? It was
my God.
We were like, we don't want to. That's so embarrassing. And now we're like, please, everyone, unsubscribe, please. But yeah, I'm so thankful to all the subscribers. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm wearing a morning outfit. I'm in mourning.
Yes.
It's all black. I call this goth IRA.
It's a rainy day here in New York. The universe is mourning with us.
Goth businessman. Yeah.
Oh. But that was the last time.
Yeah.
But that was the last time you said I'm Youngmi Mayer. No more. I think we got pretty good at the intros. I'm never gonna say
I'm Youngmi Mayer anymore ever again. I'm never gonna be Youngmi Mayer anymore after this. And I'm gonna say that part. I'm gonna not say the feeling Asian part, Brian.
This is when you announce your name change. You're no longer the artist formerly known as Youngmi Mayer, FKA Youngmi Mayer.
FKA. That's so funny. Yeah. No longer am I. I want to say a lot of things seem like they're ending. I know no one cares about Twitter, but Twitter is literally about to explode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of things are ending right now.
We had
like a blood moon in Taurus. That was a big day for me. The eclipse. I know you're not into astrology, but everyone was saying how that was like everything you're manifesting will come true that day. And all these things happened to me.
Wait, what?
There was an eclipse earlier this week.
Well, I want to believe in that. So if it's good things, then let me know. So that way I can partake. But then if it's bad things, then astrology is absolute bullshit.
So apparently this is all information I got on TikTok, so you know it's accurate. The blood moon in Taurus was like the day that all the things that you were manifesting in your life are going to come true. And then I had like a bunch of business meetings that day out of nowhere.
Wow.
So
surprising. Didn't know that's what you were manifesting. You were manifesting business meetings, and I'm happy that they have come true.
Goth IRA. Yeah.
I just really want some business meetings this week. Please.
I just want to be in 9 Zoom calls that lead to nowhere. Yeah.
Well, this is our final episode, everyone, and let's treat it like this is a prestige Oscar bait movie. So let's kick it off with the credits, Youngmi, because what is going to ensue after is going to be a banger. But to the fans, to the listeners, to the Patreon subscribers, to all of you all, thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast. And we got to give a special thank you to all of our wonderful team members that helped make this happen from the beginning. Special shout out to, our photographer extraordinaire, June Kim. Special shout out to our audio engineer, Sarah Pack.
OG person that she literally listened to our episodes and said, your audio is trash, so I'm going to come and help you.
Yes.
Before we had any sort of before the Patreon, and we were like, we don't know how to.
But
Sarah.
Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to our current audio engineer, Ollie Cho. Shout out to our video editor, Alex Chan. Shout out to our wonderful project manager and researcher extraordinaire, copywriter,
operations manager,
the
person that runs this.
Lisa Kwan.
Shout out to our other photographer, Emmanuel Han, who is famous on this podcast for saying the very famous quote that we bring up over and over again. I love your podcast because it's not successful Asian people. It's losers like me. And I relate to it. Which we bring that quote up all the time.
Relatable content. But yes, that's the wonderful team behind this podcast. We truly could not have grown and gotten to the heights that we did without their help. And so if you are creative, or if you work for a company that is in need for their special skill sets, please DM us on Instagram, hit us up on our email. We cannot recommend them enough. So
I mean, you hear the fruits of their labor on the episodes. Just go back to the first few episodes and you're just like, oh my God, what's going on here? When we were all on our lonesome, and then now it just sounds like NPR.
I know. It sounds very NPR now. I've turned into such a snob about podcasts, because when I hear people who have audio levels that are wildly different and there's just trash sound, I forgot my roots. I'm like, what is this fucking amateur hour operation? But meanwhile, that was us.
I still have I don't know what it is about me. I'm like one of those people that will never develop a skill of taste, because I still have no idea. When I listen to stuff, I'm like, this sounds great, and someone's like, the audio's all off, and I'm like, I have no idea what that means. I can never. Yeah, I believe you. But I know ours sounds good.
It's better than what I do. I have a very discerning taste, but I don't want to teach myself how to fix it. So instead, I'm just upset.
You're like, this sounds bad, but I have no idea how to not make it sound bad.
Right. But yeah, we just wanted to kick it off by saying thank you to everyone who helped us, build this thing, helped us just fucking build out this entire community. It's a great thing. And
thank you obviously to our guests who, unlike what Emmanuel said, after a few years they were the successful people. Poor Emmanuel, he's like, God damn it, now you got fucking,
we're just roasting our good friend Emmanuel.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think he's popping off too now. So we're all rising to the top together, this whole crew.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah, of course, shout out to our amazing guests. All the wonderful guests we've had along the years. We had so many cool fucking people that we became friends with after, and I'm just still blown away that these people want to hang out with me. People that I also feel like maybe secretly hate us, and we never talked after that. But that's just me and my personal, I don't know if that's true, but I spiral about the fact that some of our guests disliked me. But also, I think mostly, by far, I think the biggest thank you goes out to our listeners. And just I've just grown so much as a human being because of you. I've already cried about this, but I just feel so blown away by the fact that you listen to me. That just is so rewarding, more than anything in the world. I think it's just so deeply rewarding.
It's what we do this for. We are narcissist with an undiagnosed mental disorder. So listeners, thank you.
Listen to me.
Listeners, thank you for feeding this bottomless void in my heart.
I don't. Yeah, but thank you.
Thank you so much. And yeah, wow, this is.
Without further ado,
Woo!
one last time, Brian.
Woo!
One last time. How are you
Whee!
feeling?
Oh man, I do this a lot where before big things I purposely try to be somewhat disorganized and disheveled as a way to pretend that I don't care. So for instance, if I have a feeling that a romantic partner of mine wants to have an important talk with me to break up with me, maybe leading up to it, I'll just sort of dick around and be purposely late and purposely distract myself from the thing. Just show up like, oh, hey, sorry, I'm late, like whatever. And yeah, I think that's kind of how I'm feeling right now, you know. I kind of had a lazy, lackadaisical morning. But yeah, you know, it's never really hit me until now, but it is. I do feel sad that this is the final episode. Yeah, I don't know. I think I was very cool and collected on this podcast leading up to it, and it's sort of hitting me right now. Yeah, that's how I'm sad. This is something that we've worked really hard on in the past 3 years. Every week, I don't think we missed a single episode. And I looking back, you know, this past 2 months has been a lot of reflection. I think it's fucking incredible, and I'm really proud of what we've built together. But yeah, it's a bit sad. You know, we've obviously had we've had our ups and downs working together. I think that just comes with the territory of working very closely with another person on a project, but I'm gonna miss working with you. I'm gonna miss it's just the routine of it all. But it is, I think that I stand by the decision. I think the timing is right. I have no regrets, but I am a little bit sad right now. That's how I'm feeling. I'm thankful to all of you who tuned in. I know there's a lot of podcasts out there, especially compared to when we first started. I can't thank you all enough for listening and just sort of reaffirming my creative passion and agency. I grew a lot with this podcast, and yeah, it feels a little bit like a high school graduation or college graduation, you know? Like this is something that we went through. I learned a lot about myself. I'm excited and nervous about what's beyond, but yeah, I have a lot of you know, we built something great together, and I have a lot of fun memories that have come from this podcast, and it's always going to be, yeah, that's just overall how I'm feeling. I'm feeling right now, I'm like a little bit sad, but you know, it's good nonetheless. That's how I'm feeling. You're like, way to go, brother man.
Brother man Brian.
Yeah.
I feel like, to be honest with you, I felt like you not necessarily pulling away, but being a little bit like maybe pulling away during the last few episodes, and I did read that as like this like protective measure. You know what I mean? Like I could sense it.
Yeah, I do that. I do
And
that. Because my friends
yeah.
were asking me if I was sad, and I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm chill. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. But now that it's here
Yeah.
and it's happening, and yeah, I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna, I'm gonna fucking turn off this Zoom, be sad for 30 minutes, and then fucking put the Zoom and microphone on Facebook Marketplace. I'm just kidding.
Are you?
No. No, I was pulling away. It's all an illusion. You know, difficult
Yeah.
feelings like this, I cope in that way, but I'm in it now. And yeah, you're right, Young Mei. I was pretending, but I didn't really feel it
Yeah.
then, I thought I was totally cool with it, but
I don't know
it's
if I would call it pretending. I think it's just like, like sometimes things happen and your mind and body react a certain way. And like, I wouldn't call it pretending. It's like,
yeah.
like if you are like tapping out or like disassociating, because I do that a lot emotionally. It's
Yeah.
like, I think a lot of people read, when that happens to me, people read it as I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I like short circuited. Like I care so much that I literally, my brain waves are not hitting each other and I'm just in a special place. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I did sense that, but in no way did I read it as you like pretending not to care or not caring. I was just like, I get it. This is like a hard thing to like have to confront, and emotions display themselves in ways that are very different in different people. So yeah, I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
And I'm doing
It's
that too. There's a certain level of that happening with me too.
right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for, yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate your emotional insight. Yeah, it's spot on. That's essentially how I've been managing the closure of this. But yeah, it is. I keep saying this, but it is very bittersweet. But yeah,
Yeah.
how are you feeling though?
My fucking neck. I pulled my fucking neck. No, this is related. Trust me. For a fucking month, it's been stiff, and I can't like. I'm like sitting weird right now because I don't know if you can see because I'm trying to stretch it out.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it's kind of the same thing. Like I'm like holding in a lot of emotions, and it's like hitting my neck. It's in my neck, It's so stiff. But I was like talking to my therapist, and she was like, "Well, why don't you go like to get it like fixed or look at the doctor?" Or I was like, sometimes I get acupuncture and that resolves it. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to, because that just seems like a necessary like a errand or like kind of like a luxury. And she was like, it's not a luxury. It's like you literally, it's debilitating. You can't even move your neck. Why don't you go get that resolved? But it's this thing where I like put myself at the very end. I'm like, I have to do all this stuff for other people. I have to, take care of my son and do all this work, and I have this deadline, blah blah blah. And she was like,
Right.
she was like, it's weird how you're seeing taking care of your own body as like this luxury that you cannot afford. And I was like, you're right. So I think I'm gonna go get acupuncture later today, but maybe after this episode it'll just go away because all my sadness will be, I don't know, maybe I should just cry, Brian, and I'll just like all the tears will come out of my neck. I don't know. How am I feeling? I'm a lot of me is feeling very numb too, and I think I'm like trying to like tap into that and recognize that it's just like a self-preservation thing. Like my brain is like I try to think about it and then it like doesn't want to, like it gets really foggy.
Yeah.
And I think that's very normal for me. That's like my MO. And then like I know I've already said this so many times on this podcast, but like in 6 months, I'll like be on the subway and I'll be like, ah, like I'll just be crying. I'll be like, oh, I'm sad. It's my podcast ended. It will be like July or something. I'll be like on the beach or something. I'll be in the Rockaways. Like, you guys, it's so sad. I miss Brian or something. But that's just, I can't like judge myself for how I cope with big emotions. That's just how it is,
Yeah. I think that's what's gonna happen with me too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be it's gonna happen next week, next Friday. I'm gonna just look out my window and think, wow, I would be recording the podcast right now, and just look at my hands because I don't know what else to do.
It's gonna be like 3 a.m. I'm gonna be like, welcome to feeling Asian in the mirror by myself. It's fucking psycho.
Oh yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah. It is sad.
But I guess on like a happier note, both of us wanted to. Okay, this was my idea for the final episode because, okay, a big theme of this podcast, even in the first episode that we did a recap a few weeks ago, I talk about how, the reason that I had such a late start in comedy is that I felt like I wasn't deserving of having dreams and like trying to like go get my dreams. Like in my life, I was like, I didn't want to say out loud that I want to be a comedian, because I don't think I deserve it. I'm not good enough. Why the fuck would anyone listen to me? And I had to overcome that, like that part of my brain. And then the day that I overcame that in therapy is when I started doing comedy when I was 33 years old. Right. And I think that led me to realize that, yeah, I have done a lot of work to resolve that in my head. But the fact is I'm still very ashamed of having dreams and admitting that I want good things to happen. And I don't know why, but it's really embarrassing for me to like fully say out loud what I want to achieve in my life. And so I thought that I don't know if you want to do this too, but like as a practice for myself, I would openly admit to what I really want to happen in the future for myself and my career, even though it's embarrassing, as a way to like fight that part of my head that sees it as humiliating, and also as a way to manifest. Right?
I think that's great. I think the last few episodes that we've done on this podcast have been reflective. We've reflected on this great thing that we've built together, but I think it's fitting that for the last episode we look forward. And
we look forward.
I love this as a practice. I'm fucking down. Let's fucking do it. But also it's a way for all of you listeners to follow what we do next.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah. I think that's great. Threateningly. Please. I swear to God, if I lose followers after this podcast, I will kill myself.
And also I think it's like, it's just like, I'm gonna do this. So if anyone else is listening and you also struggle with this and say, this is what I want from the universe, just fucking do it. I'm saying it out loud. It's embarrassing.
I guess you kick us off, Youngmi. I think beyond this podcast, what are you most looking forward for yourself? What are the things that you hope to obtain, and what can our listeners look forward to, I guess, overall?
I'm going to go fucking all out. I'm going to go full cringe and just be like, I'm going to tell you like my fantasies of where I hope my career takes me. And this is, again, I know I've said it like 15 times, very embarrassing, but I feel like I should. Okay,
I also want to preface this that
10
years from now, if what we record on this podcast does not come true, this is all a bit.
I'm joking. This is a total joke. In 5 to 10 years, if I listen to this and none of this happened,
it's a bit.
I was completely joking. Me and Brian planned it out.
Yeah.
I wanted to become a brunch server, and I'm very happy as a nail tech or whatever I'm doing. Like, beautiful. I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to. That's mean. Are you kidding me? I would fucking love. Can you believe, like, honestly,
a brunch server.
Not to talk shit about people who work those jobs, but to become a nail salon owner, that's a fucking sweet ass gig. I'm sorry. Like, that is, I know, like, I would be very happy owning a nail salon.
Okay.
Are you kidding
now,
me?
Now you're being like mega woke
No, I'm not.
to to
No,
pat
because
out.
like no, I kind of feel like I know that this thing is like no, I'm being honest. Like I feel like as also like millennials, like I feel like our immigrant parents that came here, like a lot of them like ended up owning businesses, but like I don't know. Now it's like to even own a business seems like such a dream. I don't know. Like, wouldn't you just like having a nail salon, Brian?
Oh, for
Honestly,
sure. I think overall that is emblematic of
the American dream.
our generation. When we were kids, we'd watch The Simpsons and see Homer Simpson and make fun of him. And then now that we're Homer Simpson's age, we're like, wait a minute. He has a house.
He owns a home.
He has a loving family. That guy's living the fucking dream. He gets beer with the boys, has a loving wife.
Also, I think somebody said, do you know how old Homer Simpson is in the show?
He's like our age.
I think he's supposed to be 38. He's my age. Holy fuck. Can you imagine if I had a house right now? I'd be fucking happy.
He's a nuclear engineer.
Okay, I'm going off the rails here. I just, I like, obviously, well, I mean, I guess that's part of it. I guess, the truth is, like, there was a very much a time where my entire life, that's all I was going to be. I was just going to be a restaurant server, and that's what I did my entire 20s. Like, I didn't, like I said, I never tried to do anything until I was 33. But this is my dream fantasy. My fantasy is that, I've like alluded to it a little bit. I've like sent in this book proposal. Nothing's really happened yet. My biggest fantasy is that I sell the book, I write the book, it comes out, and it does very well. Like I'm like, okay, it does really well. And then I want to do like a book tour that's like a combo comedy show is like my idea. Don't steal it. That's my idea.
Okay.
So it's like, like I'll go and it'll be like a book reading, but it'll be like a comedy show. And I'm like very obsessed with this idea of doing like this combo concept, like.
Right.
And so I'm like, I am actively working on that like live show concept, whether or not the book happens. But my dream is to, it's weird because my dream is like, if I'm being very honest, it's like, I want to do this and I want it to be successful. Like I want a bunch of people to come. And
of course,
as
you should.
That's the part I've been too embarrassed to say. Like I can say like, oh, I want to do like this live show, this concept that I've been thinking. I want to write a book, right? I can say that. But the other part that I've not really admitted to, which is obvious, is that I want it to do well and I want a bunch of people to buy it and come to it and like it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the part that makes me really uncomfortable to admit. But like, of course I want that. Like, I don't want to fucking write a book and it like it's nobody buys it. You know what I mean? Like that's not what I'm fantasizing about in my fucking bedroom.
In your
like,
dream fantasy.
It's gonna go off. You can buy it at Costco at like 75% off. Like that's not what I want, And then I think my further along fantasy is to eventually do like a TV show or like a movie based on that. Again, which is dependent on it doing well. But that's my dream fantasy / 5-year goal, let's say.
Yeah, I think that's totally feasible. I mean, you're putting together your proposal. Just gotta make a banger of a book, which I'm confident it will be, and then get that shit optioned into a TV show or a movie.
Yes. It's scary to say stuff like that because I have this like deep-rooted, obviously I've talked about this, I have this deep-rooted fear that if I say something, if I say what I want, people will know and that will be vulnerable and then they can take it away. I have this like very deep-rooted fear in the back of my head that now someone's going to fuck it up because they heard. It's like a superstitious feeling. Do you know what I mean? Like you say something and like a witch or something can take it and curse you,
It's the magic trick. It's the secret. You don't want to give up that sauce.
Yeah, you want to hold it dear to your heart. But I just wanted to say that as a practice. It felt very bad and weird, but I got it over with.
That's exciting.
How about you, Brian? Thanks. How about you, Brian? What's your dreams, hopes for the future, your fantasies?
Yeah.
What do you want?
So, very short term, I would like to get to over 500 connections on LinkedIn. I'm sitting at 380. So, listeners, connect with me on LinkedIn. Give me a search, Brian Park, Feeling Asian, on the LinkedIn search engine. And
I like these. I love that. It's a
short
very
term.
realistic dream. Yeah.
No, but let's see. Realistically, I'm performing a lot of stand up these days. So my next show is actually from the time this recording comes out, the next show is tomorrow. I'm going to be on Hack City, hosted by our dear friends Mike Wen and Jenny Arimoto. So if you would like to see me perform, get a ticket to that. And yeah, so my goals are I want to do a lot more stand up. In the stand up realm, I want to aim towards writing an hour. Although I think my dream isn't to be like a touring stand up is the thing. So realistically, I want to make it a more regular part of my life where I perform frequently. I've been doing it a lot lately. I feel like I'm getting I feel like I came out of a coma, and with each set, I feel like it's coming back to me. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing it. So come see me perform. I would love to do stand up at the Just for Laughs Montreal Festival. I think that is a common that's a dream for a lot of comedians, just for any stand-up comedian. So I want that in my future. I am currently I have a couple ideas for TV shows, so I would love to sell a television show, and then I'd love to act more. That's basically what it is for me, stand-up, writing, and acting. I'm doing a lot of each of them, so I'm confident that I'll make it happen. But yeah, those are my dreams. Sell a TV show, do stand up at the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival, and I want to act in something. I would love to act, whether it's in a series regular or in a feature film. Yeah. But they're all interconnected. I think that like the things that I'm trying to do, they're interwoven. So as long as I keep working hard, it'll be good. Yeah. Yeah, so those are the things to look forward to from me, listeners. I think tangibly speaking, I think the best way you guys can see me and support me is to come see me perform stand up. Don't unfollow us on socials. Don't follow us. Keep following our Feeling Asian podcast Instagram. Let's figure out what we want to do with that. Maybe we can just turn into like a shit post meme account. But I want to plug my shows on it. So don't unfollow us on any of our social media accounts. We'll make it worth your time.
And we're trying to like do stuff as like the Feeling Asian entity moving forward. It's in some capacity.
For sure. Yeah, we're currently So follow us diligently. We already have something in the works happening, but come see me perform. That's the most exciting thing up top right now.
You know what I want to say really quick about this idea of manifesting, and there's like a spiritual component to how people like think of their dreams and stuff.
Right.
The interesting thing is both of us, are doing stuff actively to get to achieving what we want. Like there is like, of course, like this like out of our control component to everything, because obviously we're creatives, and like like as an actor, like it's not in your control like what kind of roles that you will get to achieve success in that realm. And but like we are doing the things in our control, and so if it happens, very much it feels like serendipitous, but it's also like we actively move towards it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like yeah. It's such an
Totally.
interesting. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I think yeah. I feel it very strongly. I think the podcast in a strange way, uh it I loved doing it, and it was really fucking hard for both of us to do this every week. It was a lot of bandwidth. It
Yeah.
weirdly was
Can yeah.
it was a lot of effort, and I think after the announcement of the podcast ending, it sort of lit a fire under my ass to get my shit together and to redirect this energy into my independent projects. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've felt as confident in my creative resolve when it comes to my own personal practice. And I'm really excited for all of you all to see what I produce, because I'm really proud of what's to come.
Can I ask you a question, Brian?
What's up?
Like, because you were saying that you were like feeling that you came out of this fog where you weren't doing comedy and stuff like that. Why do you think that was? Like, just because like you were focused on this podcast, and like, what do you think was like going on?
I think I had a lot of unresolved feelings about who I was, and that I needed to work through. In a weird way, this podcast was it was like exposure therapy in a sense, but everything that I have expressed on this podcast, I just needed to figure out for myself. I just didn't know who I was for a long time, and I think this podcast has been tremendously helpful in helping me actualize myself. And yeah, I think doing stand-up again after taking a break from it, it feels fun again. And
interesting.
Yeah, it feels fun again. The material that I'm writing, I feel it's sharper. I think I'm a better writer than I was before the podcast.
Same.
I'm just a different person now. But I think I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I needed to burn off all of this energy that was preventing me from committing myself to myself, essentially. Yeah. 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 But yeah, it's a strange thing, you know. It's everyone's journey. It's non-linear.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing stand up again, and of course, obviously, there's younger people who I'm rubbing shoulders with now. But I needed to do this, and yeah, I believe in us. I'm very confident in both of us being able to manifest and actualize our dreams. We joke often about this podcast and about how we didn't know what we were doing, but even before we started, I think there was a non-0% part of our brains that knew that we can actually build something here, and it could be good.
Yeah.
And it could be, and it can turn into something. And I think we accomplished that. I'm really proud of what we've accomplished, and I want to take that energy and use that as a reminder that I can do that for myself and for what I do beyond this podcast. And I'm really thankful to everyone who tuned in, but I'm also excited, you know. I'm excited to churn out for everyone to see a different side of me, and for people to see what else I produce, you know. Yeah. And like, strangely enough, like in this podcast, it is like a comedy podcast per se, because we both are trained as comedians, but it was very serious, and I not in a bad way, you know. I can be a serious guy. I'm down to have these sorts of conversations, but I'm also silly and I'm also funny, and I think that's a part of me that I feel like I haven't been able to express as much, and I'm excited. And I'm excited to do that, and for people to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah, but
Well, here we go. Oh, we should also, I guess, as we're wrapping up this episode, we should discuss that we're having a final party. Obviously, we've been saying that.
but it's
So
actually
we're
gonna happen. It's happening.
It's actually going to happen. It's going to be a show. We're just trying to figure out the date, and we're going to post it on our social media accounts. So if you live in the New York City area or you're nearby and you want to come party with us, it's going to be a show, and we're going to have a lot of our former guests, and it's going to happen sometime in early to mid-December. So please stay tuned.
Right.
We'll post about it as much as possible. And yeah, that we just want to make sure that you know about that, because that's definitely going to happen. I don't know. And then maybe we can keep doing stuff, like live stuff, moving forward, to feel, in this entity.
For sure. I don't know why I said that. I was like, for sure. For sure.
And in classic, I guess, me fashion, I have to say, this podcast, I know we talk about how it documented COVID, but it also documented this time of my life where the first time in my entire life I decided to not be a serial monogamous, because I realized, I think we talked about this process through when it was happening. I realized, after my divorce, I got in 2 serious relationships back to back. And then I came to the realization that I'd never been single for longer than 2 months as an adult, since I was fucking 16 or 17. And so I decided to be single for a year, and now I'm chaotically single permanently. I've broken my brain, or fixed my brain. I would say fixed my brain, and I'll never again. But that I was gonna say, that's important for me to say, because I have to go soon because I have a dick appointment. It's fucking in the middle of the day.
Well, you have a dick appointment at 1 p.m.
It's 2 p.m. But I got, I'm just telling you, Brian, just so you know. But this all happened in front of all the listeners, right? They followed my journey through this. So
Right. Yeah.
I'm back, baby.
Look at us. We each went on our journey. I'm pretty sure in the early aughts of this podcast, I kept talking about how my dick game was horrible, and now I'm in a relationship. So
also,
that's called
Brian,
growth.
You were also, not to put you on fucking Front Street, you were legit like a Korean fuckboy. And then you went the other way. You were now you're in a committed relationship. You're a good boyfriend now. I was like, I've never been single my entire life, and now I'm I've learned the ways of the people on the streets. I mean that slutty, not sex workers, but
oh my god.
And yeah, we just went this, doop, we went the opposite ways, which good for us.
We did a little crisscross there. No, it's yeah, it's, oh man, it's sad, but this has been very fun. That's for sure. It's been a fucking wild and chaotic ride, this fucking podcast.
It's been real, and it's been fun.
Oh man. But yeah, are there any last parting words now that we've aired out our dreams, what our hopes and ambitions are beyond the podcast?
This is what I want to say as the final thing that I want to say on this podcast before I leave for my dick appointment. Brian, it was a pleasure and an honor working with you. You are such a great person and an amazing comedian. I know we had our hard times, and our personality. There are parts of our personality that there was some rough patches, but I really appreciate this podcast. I'm so excited that you as we all know, you're the one that had the idea and you approached me. I am so thankful, and I'm so proud of our working relationship, because I feel like this is probably the healthiest working relationship I've ever had in my life with anyone. And it's going to influence how I work with other people and treat other people moving forward. And for that, I'm extremely thankful. And, I'm very grateful to you.
Oh, thank you, young May. Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure it's crazy. I can't believe it's actually coming into an end now after these final remarks. But no, Youngmi, I want to thank you for just being down to clown, being on board to work on this podcast with me from the inception. I I've learned a lot from you, and I know that I can be a lot too, and I'm glad that we were able to commit ourselves to this and work through it all and set aside some of our differences. And there were definitely some ups and downs, as you can evidence from our beef episode, but needless to say, I think that I think that's like the magic of what we've built together, is that on paper we're seemingly very different people, and I think that our differences in our personalities have kind of created this chemistry that have made this podcast what it was. And it can't I don't know, it's just like the secret sauce. And but most importantly, I'm very thankful to you. I'm very thankful that you believed in this vision and this thing that we built together. But also, as an artist, I've learned a lot from you in regards to believing in myself. I think it's very inspiring that you had this whole other life before being a comedian, and I think that you've shown a lot of people that it's truly like you gotta find your own happiness, and you gotta do things your own way. And I think you're incredibly irreverent, and I have a tendency to stick to rules and think things should be done a certain way. And I've, just by knowing you and working with you in this capacity these last 3 years, I've accumulated a lot more confidence in myself just by proxy of being around you, because you are someone who I think you give no fucks. You believe in yourself, and you believe in your voice, and that's something that I've learned a lot about myself from working with you. And it's made me a better artist, and it's because I get in my own way. That's my biggest demon. And so I'm incredibly thankful that for your patience and working with me in that regard. I know I can be quite hard on myself and can be quite hard on you, but all in all, I'm really, really thankful that to have known you in this capacity, and I'm really inspired by you. So thanks, Youngmi.
I'm so proud of you, Brian.
Oh. It's sad.
I'm so proud of you. I'm really proud of you, and I'm really proud of this podcast.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you too, Youngmi. This is crazy, when we were like open micers, and we did a show with Japanese Breakfast, and you just finished a book proposal. Like I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to see the heights that you'll reach, because it's been really fucking awesome to see. And
same.
It's all very.
I'm so excited to see and follow your career and be your fan. I mean, I'm already your fan. I'm very proud of you and us. I'm very thankful.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's it.
And that's all, folks.
That's the end. We're to stop being Asian after this.
Yeah,
it was all a scam.
I'm fucking done. I'm done being Asian.
Sick of this shit.
I'm fucking done being Asian. Holy fuck. That's the takeaway. Good riddance.
I'm done. Yeah, we're done. We're sending in our Asian cards. After this, we're going. Yeah, I'm just kidding. We're always gonna be Asian. We're always gonna be feeling stuff. So I guess we'll always be feeling Asian. Thank you all for everything, listeners. We'll see you around.
Follow us on socials, our independent socials. Follow me at It's Brian Park. Follow Youngme at YMMayor. Follow her on TikTok at YoungMeMayor. Follow me on
We'll
TikTok.
see you at Brian's stand-up shows because I'm gonna be there.
You're still gonna be performing too?
I also do stand-up. Yeah, I do. I still do stand-up like I probably at least once or twice a week. So we'll see you there.
Yeah. But please
'Kay.
follow us. Get excited. We have a lot of great shit cooking up for y'all. Come do our last celebratory live show. We'll announce that on our social media platforms. And yeah, for the last time, thank you all. Thank you all so much
Thank you.
for tuning in and listening. And
We'll see you on the flip side.
we'll see you on the flip side, y'all. Thank you.
Bye.
And take care. Bye, everyone.